So you know this kind of plant, don't you?
Yeah, I grow this plant in our garden, and one of the reasons, other than that I love roses, is that it's a disease-resistant plant, and a lot of roses are a bit susceptible to mildew and black spot and things, but this one doesn't get that, and it looks after itself pretty much. You know, I give it a hard chop down in March, and then it gives you beautiful, fresh lime green foliage in the spring, and then you get these lovely open flowers with bright yellow stamens in the centre, and the insects just love them. And then in the autumn you get gorgeous hips. They go sort of coral coloured, and they last right into the autumn and look absolutely gorgeous. So this is a really good plant if you just don't want too much trouble with a rose, because some roses can be a bit, you know, they just need to be a bit more hands-on, but this one looks after itself pretty much.
What makes you a Berlin original, probably?
Well, I remember coming here in the early 80s when my career began, when the wall was still up, in fact, and I remember that vividly. It's a beautiful city, it's full of culture, full of a lot of sculpture, and there's a lot of art in the parks, and a lot of parks, and a lot of plants. So it's got everything really, Berlin.
Do you have any favorite park in Berlin where you really always go to?
You know what? No, I don't have a particular one I go to, but I'm always very aware wherever I go that the city is full of beautiful trees and plants. Often, if I get a bit lost, I will know where I am because of the plant that I notice. So yeah, we're definitely on the way, because I remember seeing that tree when we went past it. So yeah.
You were writing a book about people to encourage them, even if they don't have green fingers, to get started. What is the most important thing of getting started?
I think you have to start small. Don't overreach yourself. Don't make a great big project you can't keep up with that overwhelms you and puts you off. So start really small, in a little pot. Sow a seed and see how that makes you feel. I'm still amazed that such tiny little seeds grow into such various different beautiful plants, and not only plants that look great but that taste great too.
Do you have a special favorite tree or plant or something that you're really into?
I really love lavenders. I've got some lavender behind us. It's a really easy plant to grow, and it's so beautiful and aromatic and healing, and pretty much anyone can grow it as long as they don't put it in the shade. So I really believe very much in the healing power of plants, and they can bring people together, and they have an awful lot to offer, and they're sort of sitting quietly behind us, and they're giving us so much pleasure, and they don't scream at you, they're just there, just being perfect.
Are you talking to your plants?
I do. I don't always talk I don't always talk verbally. Sometimes I just talk to them with my mind, so it's either. Okay. They know what I'm saying though.
And do you have a special sound, or do you have a special rhythm to do your gardening?
I would say I was inspired by having children, and I wanted to create a beautiful garden for them to grow up in. We didn't have any plants in our garden at the time. And also I think from a very personal point of view, I needed something to balance up the professional life that I'd had, the singing life, being a pop star life from when I was 20, and I was about late mid-30s when I got into gardening. It was a way of trying to balance my life, and then the children encouraged it more, and that's when I went back to college and started studying horticulture a bit and find out more about the subject, and it became my one of my grand passions, and it still remains. And I would say a lot of people overlook the great therapeutic value of getting outside and having your hands in the soil and helping something to grow. My equation with gardening is that every 10% you put in, you get back 90, and I think that's a really good deal.
You won a lot of prizes with your flower show, within the flower shows. What makes your gardening special? I did
manage to achieve a really big award at the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, which was amazing. I would say my gardening style is not easy to define, but it's probably quite like me. I like to have a good framework, but everything within that kind of has a lot of freedom.
You have vegetables in your garden, that's what we read. Are you using them for making dinner or for?
Yeah, I mean, we've grown a lot of vegetables over the years, especially when the children were growing up, and I'd get them actively planting seeds and helping them to notice the different stages of the growth, and holding great big, pumpkins and bags of potatoes or carrots and things. So it's been part of family life since they were growing up.
You mentioned your kids. Are they gardeners too? Are they into gardening as well?
I'd probably put them off gardening because I'm out there all the time, and there have been plenty of times when they come home hungry for dinner, and I'd just like, I'll be back in a minute. So I think they feel a bit resentful of the garden, probably because it takes up all my time, and because I make them go out in it. But no, I'm joking. I think probably in their later life they will go back to it. In fact, my son, who's 16 and very hardcore rock and roll, he said to me the other day, I want to find a place to live in a mountain and grow vegetables. And I thought, wow. That's amazing. I think sometimes with parents and children, you get the sense that they hate what you're doing in the garden and they hate gardening, and they'll tell you that as well. And they'll say, I hate this, I hate the garden. And you just have to ignore that, because you know that like 10 or 20 years later, suddenly they'll have an epiphany and they'll think, oh my goodness me, it's because Mum, I remember now.
How important in your, out of your perspective, is to introduce kids to gardening?
Really important. I was just at a school fete the other day promoting just that very thing. If anyone asks me to get involved with children's projects, I'm pretty much there. Because I remember being their age, 7, 8, 9, at primary school level. That's a great time to really harness their passion for the natural world, encourage it, inspire them. It's a great way of giving them confidence as well. If they see that they can put a little bean in a cup and something grows out, it's amazing how much confidence that can give a child.
One of your kids is called Rose. Is that perchance? Did that happen perchance, or is that?
No, of course it didn't. Of course it didn't. Rose. It was either Poppy or Rose. I always said to Hal, if we have another girl, we'll call her Poppy. It never happened. But we got Rose.
We wonder, what is so special about an English garden?
I mean, an English cottage garden, it's quite informal, but it requires a lot of work. It's quite labour intensive to get it all looking good all the time. So although it looks kind of like it's just happening naturally, it has that kind of... it looks like it's just happening on its own, but it really isn't. It takes a lot of thinking through a cottage garden. They're one of the most labour-intensive kinds of gardens that you can have for a year-round garden.
But what do you think should an international gardening exhibition have in times like these?
It's a very personal thing, gardening. A lot of people look at a Japanese garden and they don't feel very moved at all. So it's a very personal thing, actually, and a lot of people don't like very modern approaches to design, and some are a little bit more old-fashioned about it. So I guess it'll have something for everyone. That's the great thing about an exhibition. There'll be something that everyone can be inspired about, and it'll be the best in the world as well. It will be the best example of whatever it is. So in whatever style or whatever country it's comes from, you can be sure it will be the very best. So it'll be a must-see event, I'm sure. I will definitely be there. I can't wait for it.
So this is
a great rose.